When we are working in India, we are working primarily with a lot of young minds. So there's a clear-cut understanding of what are the pros and cons, what's the building program, what are the bylaws, what are the setbacks, then what are the viewpoints. I'll tell you, the practice in India is very different from the practice in the West, primarily when I say in US. When we are working in India, we are working primarily with a lot of young minds and who have not understood how do you handle such volumes of money or such largeness. See, doing an academic exercise at a school level is very different than actually putting a building which has so many ifs and buts, as you all know. If you have really worked on a building, there are so many factors which actually decide upon the shape and size or the structure that you're going to build. You know, there are elements of finances, there are elements of the building permissions, then the FSI rules, all these things. So when we are working in our studio, even when Christopher was alive, it used to be a more like a design charrette in the beginning. So it was not like Christopher would come and say like, look, I am God, I have walked in and I just roll a paper, throw it, and now you work on this is the shape I want. You understand? So there's a clear-cut understanding of what are the pros and cons, then what's the building program, what are the bylaws, what are the setbacks, then what are the viewpoints. Are we looking into a garage or are we looking into a river? Are we looking into like a slum or are we looking into the mountains? You know, how do we borrow that landscape? Then how do we decide what kind of spans that we want, large spans, short spans, medium spans, what functions need to be near the entrance, what need to be away. So this is really mathematical. There's really nothing designed until now. You understand? It's really understanding what the animal could be. Will it be a 4-legged animal or a 3-legged animal or a 2-legged animal? So if we start at that very basic level with the client, once the building program, the design brief, and the idea of like what we are going to build in the kind of funds that we have, that's after that we start actually playing with the massing. Can we like make a void out of it? Can we remove a particular mass and put it somewhere else? Can we merge two and make a bigger monumentality, or can we break it down so that we make it more human scale? So those are the kind of things that come in the second phase of our design. It's really towards the end, I think many times even at the working drawing stage, that like the spark of the design comes, at least in our say. I mean, like, instead of doing a square classroom, can we think about doing a fishbowl classroom? Because we're really not corrupting the FSI, we're still working on the same. And that is how I think the design happens in our studio. And a lot of our learnings comes from our own history of our projects. Our inspiration comes from, of course, Corbusier, Kahn, and some of the Western masters. But those inspirations are limited to when we look at like certain elements, like can we create a mural, can we do like coffered ceiling, or can we do a flooring of a certain kind or a pattern. Or how do we end the building? Do we cap it up with something? So I think this is how the process is, and it still continues like that, because Christopher never designed it saying that like I'm the great master and I do this and you kind of fit in somehow the building program. So it's a very iterative, design shared, discussion based kind of project, and where even the client is involved.